Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see in this game, we've got WaldorfWarsheeps playing in the Tier 10 Pan-European destroyer Holland. This is on the EU server, and WaldorfWarsheeps sent this to me, so I presume it is one of his better games. We're about to find out. I haven't watched this, so we're going to be learning about this game together. Taking a look at the matchup. Well, we've got 2 subs on each team, Gatto and U25 for the red team, and Thrasher and U2501 for the green team, which I refer to as good guys and bad guys, occasionally as white hats and black hats, going back to the old serial westerns. Taking a look for radar. Let's see, Moskva, maybe the Minotaur. Probably not, but maybe. Vampire is a definite threat. Hayate, maybe a little bit less of a threat, although those guns do hit really hard and there are a lot of them. Hayate is an interesting ship. I picked it up not too long ago. I'm not really sure how I feel about it. I think it would be more special if it had maybe slightly worse guns, but 3 sets of torpedoes like the Shima. Maybe not 5 per rack, maybe 4, but the 2 sets really hampers it, in my opinion. So, I have to say I am impressed right out of the gate. WaldorfWarsheeps is moving toward the Charlie cap. If you've watched my videos at all, you know that I generally try to cover whatever cap I spawn near if I'm playing a destroyer. Now, there's some destroyers that, of course, are an exception to that. Some destroyers are gigantic. Now, you'll notice that WaldorfWarsheeps does not use the radio location skill, the commander skill, to tell him where the nearest red ship is. So he was just taking a guess that maybe he could catch somebody at that corner. And unless there's somebody that we can't see, it seems unlikely Schlieffen's going to be getting behind the island here. Yeah, he's behind the island now. Okay, so what do we have in the way of support here? We've got, wow, that Marseille is positioned perfectly to lay the smack down if WaldorfWarsheeps gets detected here. But he is spotting for his team. He's got the Marseille and the Schlieffen identified. Ooh, Vampire is there. Vampire is he's hiding behind a rock right now, but there's the Hydro I was expecting. Waldorf does detect the torpedoes for his team, and he's moving away from the Hydro range, but Schlieffen machine guns are going to work. Torpedoes are back up. I think I'd probably turn to throw them behind me there. And maybe he catches Schlieffen. Torpedoes in the Holland are so fast that it is possible. Especially if Schlieffen turns out like he's doing. He's going to slow down a little bit. And these torpedoes are increasingly likely to just absolutely wreck the Schlieffen now. Detects the Vampire. Looks like he's got his zoom set. Yeah, Schlieffen's in big trouble. He's probably get sunk before the torpedo gets there. You know, you can set the range of your zoom, but you have to adjust it with the scroll wheel, and then when you use the key that zooms in and out automatically again, it'll establish whatever that you've set it at as the new normal. And we do have a sub right here. It's a risk to push toward it. You've got Vampire right there with some really deadly guns. And the discretion may be the better part of valor here. Stops, going to get some torpedoes. Try and catch him at that corner. That's a really smart move. I might go narrow spread here.
Torpedoes to port.
Oh, this could hurt. Going to get right in front of the torpedoes. Maybe catch 2.
Torpedoes to starboard. Torpedoes astern. All forces, capture that area. Engine boost deactivated. Problem solved, sir.
Kurfürst goes down, so good guys have lost Kurfürst, bad guys have lost the Schlieffen. Let's hope those torpedoes land. Good guys lose the Thrasher. Torpedoes do not land. So, now presumably this is a good game. And I think this is actually highlights something that I like to highlight. So we're a little over 5 minutes in, and 0 damage for our hero. Now, I know a lot of players in this game, and you've probably encountered them yourself, who kind of give up if they have a bad start or if the team has a bad start. Shoot, I had a game earlier today where somebody playing a Tier 9 German battleship, a player name will not be mentioned, decided that because this game up-tiers you, that he was just going to reverse to the edge of the map and not play at all.
Torpedoes to starboard.
I checked and he had 186 total games played.
Torpedoes to starboard.
Shimakaze goes down. So the bad guys are now down Schlieffen, Minotaur, Napoli. Good guys are down Kurfürst and Henri, Colbert, and Shimakaze.
To starboard.
Thunderer has Marseille lit, or is it Minotaur? Either way, our hero is raining shells down in an attempt to get some fires started. Colbert asks for help killing the sub. You can see that in the chat.
Enemy submarine spotted.
I think I'd pay a little more attention to that vampire. Well, it's a good thing the vampire didn't target WaldorfWarsheeps. He targeted the Minotaur.
Torpedoes dead ahead.
I think I'd be looking ahead so I can avoid
dead
torpedoes.
ahead.
But
Torpedoes to starboard.
oh, U-2501 wrecks the Minotaur. Good guys are now down half their team. Kurfürst, Minotaur, Henri, Colbert, Shimakaze, Thrasher, all gone. And WaldorfWarsheeps looks to secure the cap. He's got some help from the Schlieffen. Javier and the Thunderer trying to get back over here where there can be some concentrated fire. Colbert again asking for WaldorfWarsheeps to find that sub. Easier said than done, of course. Maybe Rambot1 is familiar with playing DDs, but I think a lot of times people haven't played them. They just assume if you're in a DD, you automatically find the sub. Just doesn't work that way. Putting some good shots into the sub. Maybe that finishes him. Not quite. Hey, it does. Look at that.
Enemy submarine sunk.
Yeah, no hydro, no magical powers to be able to spot subs, but the sub happened to get close to the surface, really near the Halland, and WaldorfWarsheeps able to help finish him off. Now at this point, both teams are down to 5 ships, and it's a pretty interesting game. I think I'd probably zoom out a little farther, but you know, not everybody's comfortable doing that. And if this is working, why not? There's a cap defense. Petropavlovsk goes down. Good guys now down to 4 ships. Bad guys still have 5. And the Gato on the red team, he's having quite a game with 2 kills already. WaldorfWarsheeps looks to be intended on following Schlieffen in here. I think I probably would have turned in ahead of the Schlieffen. Kurfürst doesn't have torpedoes, and you're not going to be able to hit Kurfürst with torpedoes here, as long as he keeps moving forward. I can understand not wanting to get close, and Schlieffen's liable to finish him with the torpedoes. Schlieffen is plainly running Gunterlütjens. You can see the little flare go up over the ship, probably due to getting at least 100 secondary hits as WaldorfWarsheeps moves to AP because he's got the broadside of the Kurfürst. Just doing little chips and chunks of damage. Schlieffen Schlieffen's in big trouble here. Good guy's now down to 3 ships, and this is looking pretty dire. You know, let that be a lesson. You know, Schlieffen secondaries are pretty deadly, and it does have torpedoes, but pushing yourself into a little narrow gap like that, very rarely is that going to work out well. Just makes it really too easy for the bad guys. You know, it looks like Javier plans to do more or less the same thing. He's going to run broadside to the Kurfürst. WaldorfWarsheeps very wisely waits for the Thunderer to pass. And just in case the Kurfürst slows down, some of the torpedoes were put a little farther ahead. I think that's probably going to do it. It's probably going to finish off the Kurfürst. You can see the HE shells are loaded. Now the good guys still have 2 caps, and that's kind of keeping them in the game. They're only down by about 66 points right now, and this might finish off that Kurfürst. Those torps look pretty good to me. Moskva and Venezia, they trade. Only 1 torp hit. And WaldorfWarsheeps, is he going to go nose into the island here? Nope. Still with 2 caps. It doesn't make sense to push in there. I really have to applaud WaldorfWarsheeps for not rushing into that gap. I mean, it's so tempting to do that. You know, you got the Colbert now eliciting a request to do that. But as soon as you do, you're going to start taking massive damage because you've got, presumably, Hayate is, or maybe Gato, one or the other, over in the other cap, and the Thunder is going to take care of the Kurfürst here, I think. And then that'll allow an opportunity for warships to move toward the Bravo cap. I think I'd probably be checking to see where the torps could catch him now. Nope, there's the Hydro. And warships moves straight ahead. It worked out. Go ahead and head on into the Bravo cap. Just, you know, you have to be aware in a situation like this. Hayate probably has torpedoes out. If he does, they're probably on the way to the Thunderer. And the bad guys, although they're down a couple points, they have 2 caps. Now it just remains to be seen for how long. I think our hero could just push straight out into the cap now. He's got that sinking battleship that could stop some torpedoes. And if you can just secure this cap, that's going to help a lot. Here are the torpedoes, headed for the Thunderer as expected. I think I'd have to be looking to see whether they're going to connect, but our heroes, they did. Okay, don't beat yourself. And he beached himself. All right, well, that's all right. Got the torpedoes out, fairly widespread. It's going to look like he's going to catch anything that's in that gap is going to be potentially in trouble. There's the sub. And our hero's caught here broadside, but he's got a really quick reload. And I think he's going to be able to finish the Gato. Maybe the Gato's run out of air and can't submerge. Now hard right and accelerate forward. And he's going to catch the Hayate with 1 torpedo here, I think. And he does. Just keep the guns hot. You got to heal still. He's very, very smart. Got the heal going. Unfortunately, Genon's got him detected now. Got to watch not to run into the island. Torpedoes back up in 8 seconds. Hayate torpedoes are probably not too far off. If you can land another 10 to 12 shells, I think the Hayate is going to be sunk. Kaite might hit the ground there and stop. Nicely done. And just out of range of the Genon.
Engine boost deactivated.
And WaldorfWarsheeps, really great job. I think you got to get in that cap though. Still got 5 minutes to go. Now you could cross that cap just at the very southern edge to slow their points and then run straight into A. I don't think there's enough time for Genon to capture the Charlie cap. Staying south of the cap, of course, it suggests to the Genon that maybe you're continuing to run south, so maybe that was a good call. Genon weaves between all the torpedoes. And if Genon, oh yeah, I think that was the right call. If Genon thinks that WaldorfWarsheeps continued south, he's probably going to come right down where you're looking. He's probably going to come between this little island in the center of the Bravo cap and the larger island off to your starboard side there. And if he does, he's going to eat a face full of torpedoes because the torpedoes are now back up. And if he does come south, it's pretty clear he expected that WaldorfWarsheeps ran south. So I think I would avoid getting in the other cap, because if you do, he's going to know torpedoes might be coming from this side. Of course, it may be too late for him to do anything about it. Yeah, it's going to be too late regardless. Great game, WaldorfWarsheeps. Thank you for sending me the replay. Those of you joining me, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.